All right, Shalom everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Yasapa. This is the free astrotheology course. We're on chapter 2. All right, chapter 2 of our textbook, which is the astrology of the Old Testament. All right, the astrology of the Old Testament, or the lost word regained. Okay, so we're going to get into chapter 2. And if we have time today, we'll also, or I'll try to weave this in as we go. The Gospel in the Stars by Seiss. So we're going to look at if we can get into it, chapter 1, the starry world. The starry worlds, rather, the starry worlds. And that's the plan. And so it just depends on my battery, how long my battery lasts. Okay? And then also the witness of the stars. So if we have enough time, we'll begin where we left off, and unfortunately there's no page number. But it's in the introduction, so the third page of the introduction, okay? So we'll begin there. Try to incorporate all of this in. Okay, so let's begin. Let's make it do what it do. I'm going to move over, try to block the sunlight. So chapter 2 is called Disclosures. Disclosures of the Searchlight. Disclosures of the Searchlight. What a chapter. And what's the searchlight, right? What is the searchlight? What is it disclosing? What is it going to tell us? Well, we're going to see. So here we are, y'all. Let's get into it. We are told in the Bible that the greatest of all astrological works. Y'all hear that? The Bible is the greatest of all astrological works, if you understand the code. Okay, if you understand the code. Okay, so for example, let's say you own land and you don't understand, you're not familiar with what diamonds look like. Or let's say underneath the land, you don't understand what a gold vein looks like and the science behind it if it breaks, how to find where that sign will pick up in terms of the depth underneath the soil. Let's say you don't understand that science. You own this land and you sell it because you're looking for something better. You want to make money. Y'all know where I'm coming from, those of you who have read the book Acres of Diamonds. Right, you got diamonds everywhere, just laying right out in the open. But you don't know what you have. You don't know what you're looking at. So you don't value it. Another example, the gold. I got that example from Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill's great work. That sold millions of copies too, right? He talks about, I think it was Darby, who stopped 3 feet before hitting gold because he didn't understand the science of gold mining. When a gold vein breaks, and how deep you need to go before it picks up. The big mistake he made, he did not hire an expert before he made a decision to sell and to help him with the mining. Same thing with Acres of Diamond. Didn't hire an expert to see what do you have in your possession now that's of value, right? The grass always looks greener on the other side, isn't it? Okay, y'all, so it's the same thing here. You have the Biblioheliotext, the book of the sun, according to our ancient ancestors, the true religion, right? The drawing back to nature, the drawing back to natural phenomena, the drawing back to self, the drawing back to self. What is man? Man is thought made manifest from the soil, right? So this is why great men like Noble Drew Ali said, study yourself. And after you study of course I'm paraphrasing, study yourself some more. Okay, y'all? So this is the import. This is the import of knowing what the Bible is. So let's go back to the author and let him speak for himself. We are told in the Bible that greatest of all astronomical works. So the Biblioheliotext, the sun book, the book of the sun, right? What is the sun? Well, let's get into it. You should already know what the S-U-N sun is. And by the way, the S-U-N sun is the S-O-N sun, coming out of Dutch and German, right? These are the same words. I did a community post on that if you guys are interested in seeing that, or just research it yourself. Okay? So let's begin with that concept. The greatest of all astronomical works, the Bible, the Biblioheliotext, the Sun Book. And y'all take note, remember, when we read in the Devil's Pulpit that our ancient Kemetic, ancient Egyptian ancestors, when the professors, the engineers, these scientists that they erroneously refer to as priests, they degrade them and call them priests as though they're worshiping gods. They did rituals and ceremonies where they carried out 4 holy books, 4 sun books that they call gospels. Right? And remember, they were called bishops. Y'all remember all of this? In the Devil's Pulpit, go back and watch it. You can correlate it. This is what we're talking about. All right? This is what we're talking about. Osiris, the father, Apis, the bull. So Osiris is the S-U-N sun, the father. Apis, the bull. Apis is the constellation Taurus. So the sun in the constellation Taurus, the S-U-N in the constellation Taurus. And at that time, right, these so-called priests were called bishops, and they carried 4 holy books. Winter, summer, spring, and fall, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Okay, the 4 cardinal points, the 4 beasts. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's look at this at a different angle. We are told in the Bible that greatest of all astrological works that Abram, or Abram, A-B-R-A-M, Abram, A-B-R-A-A-M. Y'all see the spelling? The difference in the 2 words is that there's an extra A, or a double A. So Abram, 1 A, or Abram, 2 A's, with one right after the other. And this is important. The position of the vowels are important. Also, we'll get into that later. I don't want to complicate things. That Abram or Abram, i.e. a Brahmin, that's right, y'all, a Brahmin, B-R-A-H, B-R-A-H-M-I-N, a Brahmin. Abram, Abram was a Brahmin. Was a Brahmin. Now y'all should already know that this land, this nation called India today was actually called Hindustan, Sindha, and it just escaped my mind. Is it Lesser Ethiopia or Eastern Ethiopia? One or the other. I'll research on that. But it is or was a part of Ethiopia. Okay? Historically. Y'all make the connections to Kemet. Make the connections to Kemet, okay? That Abram, who was a Brahmin, came from the east. Very important. He came from the east. Abram came from the east. And being conversant, or being multilingual, or being conversant with the languages of different peoples. Now, I would say he knew those dialects. All right, he knew those dialects. For example, the dialect in the South is different from the dialect in Chicago, is different from the dialect in Detroit, is different from the dialect in Cali. Y'all follow me? It's different from the dialect in New Jersey, New York, right? Florida, Texas. Y'all heard? But the same English. Okay, y'all? And being conversant with the languages of different peoples, came to Egypt. So Abram, a Brahmin, came to Egypt and taught the Egyptians, the Kemites, astrology. Now I beg to differ. Of course they're getting this from Josephus, right? But my opinion, they're one people. One people. So this is a divide and conquer strategy, and Josephus, y'all, watch the video I did, all Abrahamic religions are a hoax. You'll see that Josephus works on the Jews, the wars of the Jews, his works on, it's just lies. Y'all watch the video so you can see the evidence. Don't take my word for it. All right, it's on Zion Law School YouTube page, a homepage, right? I did it with Sonetta. So y'all watch that. You see it for yourself. Okay, and I don't use doctrine to prove it. So y'all check that out. So the author is alleging or asserting that Abraham is from Hindustan. He is a Brahmin, and he travels to Kemet and teaches them astrology, as the author continues, or the worship of the true God. So according to this author, worshiping the true God is practicing astrology. Now, of course, practicing astrology, we already know, is not worshiping an external deity, but it is the use of geometry, mathematics, all of the sciences to ascertain the relative positions of the heavenly bodies and their magnetic or electromagnetic effect on consciousness and all creatures, living and non-living. This is what he's talking about. So this is the true religion, nature, right? And knowing that if you are Genesis chapter 2, if you are an autochthonous Moor, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, not Genesis chapter 1, not the hybrid. And y'all know that there are various bloodlines of hybrid, of course. Right? If you follow my work, you should already know that. If you don't, go back and study. Right? So you should know who you are. You are thought made manifest. Right? The first Hermetic law, all is mind. Okay, so thought made manifest from the soil. This is who you are. This is who we are. So we are justice. We are righteousness. We are equity. By birthright. Why? Because that's who we are. Before manifesting in the flesh. Okay? And you can only be who you are. You can't be who or what you are not. But anyway, let's let that go and keep going. I had a thought. Let me get my thought back, y'all. So the author is alleging that Abram traveled to Kemet. First, where, when, and how did he learn the Kemites' language? Josephus, as far as I know, didn't discuss that. How does he know it? Well, if they are of the same empire and they're speaking the same language, only the dialects vary, well, then that would explain it, right? Otherwise, we have to ask ourselves, is this credible? Okay, so he would have had, if it's not the same empire, not a dialect, we need to have some knowledge about how is it that he came to know the Kemites' language. Right? So the only reasonable explanation is that it was the same language, just a different dialect. Just like we can go, let's say we can go from Detroit and talk to people in Chicago. We can go from Chicago and talk to people in the dirty South. Do they still say the dirty South, y'all? Anyway, let's keep it moving. So these are just examples of critical thinking questions that we should ask as we read. We're not reading passively. Okay, we are not reading passively. We're not putting ourselves in a position where we will be transported into the narrative. Okay, if they sell you anything and you buy it, that's the cuckoo egg, right? We don't want to let that cuckoo bird lay one of his eggs in our mind, and then we hatch it and nurture it, and we think it's ours, but it's actually destroying our birthright and our heirs. Okay? That's a lesson in that. So let's continue. So Abraham comes to Egypt and teaches the Kemites astrology, which is the worship of the true God. Now, you Christians and Hebrew Israelites, don't get your feathers all ruffled because he says the worship of the true God. Because this notion, and also notice he specifies true. But when you look into the biblical or the etymological meaning of this word God, you go back and look at that either in English or in Ibaryath or biblical Hebrew. Go back and look at the etymological meanings of these words. And it is not the creator of the vast universe, as you have been taught. Okay, as you have been taught. Okay, so this personal anthropomorphized deity who really is, speaking concretely, the Escheat Son. Okay, but speaking in terms of the reality, it is what? That first Hermetic law, all is mind. And the other 6 Hermetic laws come out of that first Hermetic law, all is mind, thought. Y'all heard? Thought. And these other 6 Hermetic laws are manifesting at different vibrational rates. Okay? So the transformation of consciousness that we see as physical things, okay? Now, higher self-consciousness is a vibration too. Lower self-consciousness is a vibration too. And they're different planes. There's the animal kingdom, the mineral kingdom, so on and so forth. All of these are vibrating at a specific rate specified for that plane or for that kingdom. Y'all heard? And we'll get into this as we go through this chapter. All right? So don't get stumbled by worship of the true God. All right? So God is a relatively modern term. And I'm not going to go through all the details because I've done this a million times. Y'all go back and watch my videos. God, there's no capital G. In the original language, the ancient Ibaryath that the book of the law was written in. That's the first thing. All right? So the Elohim, etc. When you all go through that, you're going to see that it can be man or deity, magi, magistrate, etc. Okay? So if it specifies true God and this true capital God, that is a what? A psychic attack. Because the capital G doesn't exist in the ancient Ibaryath. Y'all call it, or its modern day presentation, biblical Hebrew, right? With the whole new set of pictographs and these dots and dashes, the Nakud system. And made up grammar rules, which they make up to push their doctrine and to create doctrine, okay? And to hide doctrine, all right, y'all? Josephus is our authority that he taught astrology. Y'all hear that? Now, this Abram, A-B-R-A-A-M, or rather Abram, A-B-R-A-M, was accompanied by Sarah, his wife. Now, both Abraham and Sarah's, Abram and Sarah, both of their names were changed. Now, we're going to get into how and why those names were changed. Okay, what is the deception? The Abraham deception, the Sarah deception. Let's get into that. Now, Abraham, or rather Abram, was accompanied by Sarah, his wife, S-A-R-A. You will also find that his name was altered to Abraham, A-B-R-A-H-A-M, H-A-M. This was from an insertion. Dr. Yasapa didn't say it. The author is saying it. This Abraham with an H, this was from an insertion of the Tau, cross of the Egyptians. Let me show y'all this. Okay, it's not Dr. Yasapa making this up. Look at my finger. Everybody see that? Looks like a letter I, right? Y'all see it? And we have this pictograph in the Ancient Ibaryath. Y'all go check it out. By my book, 911 Ibaryath Rescue. It's purple. One comes in color. One comes in black and white. But they're both the same. The international version is black and white. There's no other difference, okay? Except for the price. But for now, buy it on Amazon because I'm right now locked out of my website. So it's going to take me some time to be able to get back into my website, and I don't want you to have to wait. Okay, y'all? Now take a look at that. All right? Dr. Yasapa didn't say it. Okay? So this was from an insertion of the Tau, cross of the Egyptians, of the Kemites, to represent the movement of the SUN sun north and south of the equator. So here's the celestial equator, and what is this, y'all? This is the ecliptic. All right? This is the ecliptic. This is the north. Well, this is the north and the south, but let's make it easy to understand north and south. Okay, so this is the summer solstice. Y'all see? This is the summer solstice. Okay? This is the Tau. Remember? The top of the pyramid, if you look at the top of the pyramid, you'll see the Tau. All right, y'all? Now, y'all see this? Again, this is the ecliptic, the apparent path of the sun. Now remember, y'all, all the planets are revolving around the sun, okay, according to modern astrology. So this is the apparent path, meaning when we look up at the sky, it looks like the sun is moving, right? So this is 23.5 degrees, okay, north, which is the Tropic of Cancer, and then 23.5 degrees south, which is the Tropic of Capricorn, okay? So this is what the author is referring to. I'm in the tourist part of town right now, y'all. So I have to be very careful because crazy things happen. I'm not saying I've never been in any crazy happening here, but you know, as a foreigner in someone else's country, you have to be always on your P's and Q's, straight up. You have to always be on your P's and Q's. For real. Okay, so let's keep it going. So does everyone see that? So this was from an insertion. So what they're saying is that the H in Abraham comes from the Tau. Comes from the Tau. Okay? Or what? The ecliptic. The north and south ecliptic. Okay? Everybody got that? The ecliptic in the north and the ecliptic in the south. And then he continues to represent the movement of the sun north and south of the equator, or what is called the northern and southern declination, or the ecliptic. So that's what he's talking about, what I just explained, okay? Thus, this letter I, right? Remember, y'all, let me show it so that it's not confusing. Y'all see that? So the scribes flipped this, what looks like an eye, this representation of the north and south ecliptic. They flip it and make it look like an H. Y'all see it look like an H now. Now why did they do that? To confuse you. Well, to not confuse you, but to hide it from you. So let me explain this. Let me get my pen. Where is it? Let me try to explain. Not try, but let me explain this to you. So y'all see the vertical line? The vertical line is the celestial equator. These two horizontal lines, so this would be the north and the south ecliptic. Okay? North and south ecliptics. The vertical line is the celestial equator. All right? And then they flipped it over. Flipped it over. And where it now looks like a letter H. Y'all see that? It looks like a letter H. Okay? What should come to your mind? Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. They wrote lies into the book of the law. They wrote lies into the book of the law. Okay, y'all? Why did they do this? To hide the astrology. And not only that, but to encode an astrological message in Abraham's appellation, or what some people will call his name. Y'all hear it? Y'all heard? Okay? So this is a coded message. A coded message. A coded message. Abram, A-B-R-A-M, Abram rather, becomes Abram, A-B-R-A-A-M. He is a Brahmin who comes from the east. The east. His name was changed to Abraham. A-B-R-A-H-A-M. And the H represents the northern and southern ecliptic. Okay? Y'all got that? So let's get into why. Let's get into why. So we discussed how they did it. Now let's get into why. Thus, let's call it letter I. Thus the letter I, or what looks like the letter capital I, which is really the celestial equator vertically, and the two horizontal lines, the north and south ecliptics. Okay, thus the capital letter I, and by reversing this gives us what looks like the letter H. So now we have the ecliptics are vertical, and the celestial equator is horizontal, forming what looks like a letter H. Okay? So let's interpret it. So AB in Abraham's name. So Ab means the original. Y'all remember we discussed that in the last class. So AB means original. Ram, R-A-M, or due east point. So Ram means the due east point, the Orient, or the origin of all light, or Brahm, Braam, of the Sanskrit. Y'all got that? Of the Sanskrit. Do you see? Do you see how they use the Hollywood? Y'all see how they use the Hollywood, the pen, to encode messages? This is English. This is not ancient Ibaryath. This is not Sanskrit. This is what they're doing in English. Okay, Jeremiah 8:8. All right? Our ancestors, the scribes, wrote lies in the book of the law and converted it into what? A religion. Y'all heard? Everybody following? Now, Ram is also Aries, right? Ram is also Aries. Ram, so here we have the celestial equator. Let's do it this way. So here's the celestial equator. The sun is springing upward, right? It passes over the celestial equator. On what? March 21, 22. This is, in modern astrology, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the natural year. What? The east, the original, it says here. So Ab, A-B, means original. So Ab, the original, Ram, y'all know that's Aries, right? Ram, R-A-M, or due east point, the Orient. So here we have the Asiatic. Here we have the Asiatic, which the Nation of Islam, well, let me not use the organization, to my knowledge, the honorable, what is his name? What is his name? Well, y'all know who I'm talking about. He said the Asiatic black man disgraced us, in my opinion. Because when you say black, he designated us to be the servant class in society. The lowest of the low. Y'all hear me? Oh, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that's his name. Y'all heard me? Okay, so he is saying and getting you to admit publicly, on the public record, that you don't have a nationality. You have no constitutional or treaty protections. He got you to admit that by getting you to publicly say that you are an Asiatic black man. He denationalized you and got you to consent. Okay, and the law, right? You have a right to contract. The right to contract cannot be abridged. Y'all heard? So this is what they did to us. It's a psychological operation, a psychic attack. Why? Because our people don't know our heritage. We don't know who we are. This is why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, a great man, probably the greatest man, in terms of what he delivered to our people and the results that it brought. Okay, and the results that it brought. Huh? Y'all go to enforcetheconstitution.org or .com. And I think it's enforcetheconstitution.org. If it's not, enforcetheconstitution.com. But I think it's enforce the Constitution. Look at it, YouTube search it. YouTube search enforce the Constitution. Okay? And then go to that website and then read the writs and see the results that have been achieved. Okay? And then you decide to give that credibility or not, to rely on it or not. Okay, it's about results. All right? So the East, the Orient, Asia, the Asiatics, not the Asiatic black man. Okay, that is a curse. He continues, origin of all light. So what direction does the sun rise in? Where does it set? Or Brahm of the Sanskrit. Y'all heard that? By disguising its true meaning, the mystifying, let me repeat that. By disguising its true meaning, what did they use? They used Hollywood, the magic wand. Y'all see that? This is the Hollywood. This is the magic wand. Right here, you're looking at it, this pen. Okay, this is the magic wand they call Hollywood. By disguising its true meaning and mystifying the multitude, mystifying the masses, by inserting at the proper place this turned over towel, making what looked like an I, making it look like an H. Y'all remember, I know I've said this already, but I just want to be clear. What looked like an I is really the vertical line, the celestial equator, and the horizontal lines, the northern and southern ecliptics, the apparent path of the sun. Okay? Just flipped it over. See, this is astrology encoded into Abraham's name. And they disguised it. Is this law for seminar? You have to specify. I don't understand what your question is asking. Can you be more specific? Is it Danny? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Okay? So now let's continue. Okay. All right. So y'all have to go back to the, I'm going to have to repeat the sentence, okay? So at the original, Ram or due east point, or orient, or origin of all light, or Brahm of the Sanskrit, by disguising its true meaning and mystifying the multitude, the masses of people, by inserting at the proper place this, let's just call it letter H. Okay, this what looks like a letter H, converted Brahm, A-B-R-A-A-M, from the Sanskrit, right? The origin of all light, due east point, into Ab, A-B hyphen Ra, hyphen Ham, H-A-M, or Ab, A-B, which means the first, The original, the ab original, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, the original man, thought made manifest from the soil. Okay? The ab, original, the father, the first. Okay? We went over that last class. So Ab, the first, original, Ra, R-A, the father, or S-U-N, sun god. Do y'all see the symmetry here? And Ham, H-A-M. Note Ham, H is the turned over towel, which gives us Ham, the Egyptian founder. So wait a minute, the Egyptian founder, Ham, is coming from, let me see, look at my hands. Y'all see the pen, the vertical line? My hands are the two horizontal lines. Okay, the two horizontal lines are the ecliptic, the northern and southern ecliptic. The pen is the celestial equator. Let's turn it over. Now you get the H. Okay, the two vertical lines are the ecliptic, and the horizontal line is, of course, the celestial equator. This is the H in Ham. Ham being what? Celestial. Celestial. Everybody see that? Ham being celestial. The original light, the origin of all light. The Biblio-Heliotext is the book of the sun. The book of the sunlight. The book of wisdom. The book of enlightenment. Ham, the Egyptian founder. I didn't write this and I didn't say it. The scribes wrote it. The scribes wrote it. So they encoded so that you would never know. Shamed you. Shamed you to think that you had some biological relation with Ham. Not knowing that the H prefixed in front of the am, as in I am, I be, I exist. Y'all see that? That the Ham is the origin of light. Is Aries, is the ram, the high ram, the origin of all light. The Orient, the Asiatic man, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Y'all hear me? Can the Spirit hear what the congregation is saying? Can you hear it more? Even you hybrids who may be watching, can you hear it? Can you see it? Or is your mind still detached from your primary sensory organs, which are your eyes and ears? Are you still under that curse of Jesus, the historical Jesus? Or has that spell been broken? And you're recognizing that you are the Christ and the devil. Depending on your vibration, higher self or lower self or somewhere in the middle, wherever you're at. More. Study yourself. And when you get done studying yourself, study yourself some more. Okay, what if your heirs, what if you knew from the time you ascended out of your mom's womb, what if you knew this information? That you are from the stars. And actually, you're even from beyond that. You are thought made manifest. See, the whole universe is made manifest from those 7 Hermetic laws. You are the essence, the substance. You are the substance of all law. And that would include natural law that governs the manifestation of the physical universe. You are thought, all consciousness, all intelligence. Okay? All of that. There never was a time when man was not. I'm paraphrasing Noble Drew Ali. You put 2 and 2 together. I hope this is clarifying who you are. So he continues. Ab, the first, the Ab original, the first, the autochthonous morph. Okay? Thought made manifest, the substance and subject matter of the law. Ab, the first, original, Ra, the Father, or S-U-N, Son God. And Ham, H-A-M. Don't ever forget where that H came from. The Egyptian founder, the Kemetic founder. Or, listen y'all, or, listen, or God the Father Ham. Or God the Father Ham. Who are you? Let me ask you again, who are you? Y'all see that? Or God the Father Ham. All right, Moors? So yes, when you speak, God has spoken. So when you are speaking lies, or you are speaking things that allude to slavery, well, guess what you're going to get? Guess what you're going to get? You're going to get the curses. Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. You are going to be escheated. Everything you got will continue to be hypothecated. You will be atturned. Why? Because you corrupted the blood of the covenant. Okay, in other words, you're violating natural law. Natural law are the Most High's commandments, which in religion y'all call the Mosaic Law. Okay, the instructions that were given to us from our ancestors, memorialized in the book of the law as the words that came from the Most High to Moses and he gave to the people. And the people verbally agreed. Okay, and then of course the tablets, but it was also what? Written on their hearts. Okay, or in their consciousness. It was already there. Already there. Y'all heard? Now let's continue. Let's continue. Thus also the name Sarah, S-A-R-A, Sa-Ra. Thus also the name Sarah, Sa-Ra. Now he didn't put that in the book, I'm doing that. Which means bitter waters or salt water, which means the ocean or the ocean. Okay, so Sarah was changed to Sarah with an H suffix to it. So S-A-R-A was changed to S-A-R-A-H with that same tau. Okay, with that same tau. It was encoded with that same tau from Abraham. By adding the moon's movement or the lunar serpent after the same manner. Y'all got that? So with Sarah, it's adding the moon's movement That's what that H, that letter H, or the tau represents, flipped over. Or, what does he call it? Another name for it, the lunar serpent. Okay, so now we have the apparent path of the sun encoded into Abraham's new name. And now we have the movement of the moon, which is the lunar serpent, encoded into Sarah's new name. Y'all got that? And so Ra, R-A, the father, and Mot, M-O-T, the mother, or the S-U-N, sun, and the moon. So Ra is the father, the S-U-N, sun, and Mot is the mother, is the moon. So we have what? Masculine and feminine energy. This is the Hermetic law of gender. Has nothing to do with sexual organs. It is energy. We have the masculine S-U-N, sun energy, and then the feminine moon energy. And I think he talks about that, but let's go into it. See, all transformations of energy occur by the Hermetic principle of gender, masculine and feminine energy. Okay, now let's continue. So I'm saying transformations because there is no creation. Okay, so I'm dealing with the second law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only transform or be transformed. Y'all got that? So everything around us is just a transformation of energy. Just like when we expire, our consciousness just transforms. Okay, and as a review, so the position of the stars when a person expires, when the position of the stars are exactly the same again, this space between is called purgatory. All right? So when the position of the heavenly bodies are exactly the same, the resurrection or the transformation of consciousness into a new form occurs, according to this author. All right? And that space between is purgatory, and this is the purgatory that the Catholic Church hijacked and monetized and associated with the concept of an S-O-U-L, soul, and monetized that too. Y'all see the greed, the deviousness, the greed and the deceit, the deception in these religious doctrines. Okay? Having their origin in astrology. Okay, so witch, when you look up witch, Diana, it means wise woman, and it's probably your ancestors. I'm assuming you're a hybrid right now from the way you're talking. These are wise women who knew how to use the earth and vegetation, herbs, okay, also clay, to heal. And your ancestors, who we gave land, gave access or usage of our land and resources to them, took that and corrupted it and murdered our people. Now, I'm not giving you my opinion, this is history. And then these wise women, many of whom helped your hybrid ancestors, therefore you're a direct beneficiary of the help they received, helped them to survive and live. And here you are attempting to make a fool of them and to disgrace them. Okay? And make a mockery of this great work that I'm presenting. Okay, so this is the nature, this is the mentality of a hybrid. Okay, Diana? But you have the capacity to not give in to those animalistic lower self desires, as strong as they may be. All right? So educate yourself before you start throwing around words which you don't know the meaning of. Making yourself look, or not making yourself look, but demonstrating your ignorance. Now, let's keep going. Now, you sit down, stop putting nasty things in the chat, and take this education, or go somewhere else. All right, so here we have Ra the father and Mot the mother, or the sun sun, and the moon, afterwards called, listen y'all, afterwards called Osiris and Isis, or Isis. Well, y'all already know where this is coming, where this is going, right? You already know. Osiris the father, Isis the mother, or Isis, E-S-S-E-S. So Isis is Isis. I-S is Isis. Is also Isis, E-S-S-E-S. Became with their son, with their S-O-N son, Isaac, I-S-S-A-C, or Isaac, I-S-A-A-C. Note the spelling. Note the spelling. This is pattern recognition, scholars. Pattern recognition. I-S-S-A-C or I-S-A-A-C. What happened? How did it go from I-S-S-A-C to I-S-A-A-C? Well, they replaced an S with an A. Y'all see that? So now we see one of the techniques that they use to disguise meanings, to mystify and to encode words. So keep that, or write a margin note. See, I write margin notes too. Y'all see, do your own margin notes. Keep that in your mind. Okay? Now let's continue. All right? So we have some court gestures. We have some court gestures in the chat. And y'all know what it means when you get court gestures. In today's world, they call them trolls. You know what it means? It means that your content is effective. It means that it is effective. All right? It means that you got strong, real medicine. All right? So all of y'all blacks and Mexicans and Latinos and all y'all other denationalized beings, all y'all corporate dead folks, y'all see the hybrid is confirming this information by hating on it. So y'all share it. That's the least you can do. Okay, share it. All right? Like the video, share the video. Y'all got y'all confirmation from the hybrid. All right? So Osiris and Isis, who is Isis, they have a son, and his name is Isaac. And what is Isaac? Isaac is a star. Isaac is a star. S-T-A-R. Okay? Isaac is a star. Now, y'all, this gets very interesting. It gets very interesting. All right? So, Osiris, the father, Isis, who is Mot, who is Esses, okay, the moon, and then Isis is a star. So these three became the teachers of all wisdom and enlightenment. The sun, the moon, and the stars became the teachers of all wisdom and enlightenment. I'm on page 11. The very first sentence on page 11. These priests of the sun, let me correct that. These scientists and engineers, these professors, who studied the S-U-N sun, were the true exponents of the only reasonable religion. And he's not talking about worshiping some external God. We already went through what this religion means that he's talking about. Okay? It is astrology, or stated more specifically, it is the study of self. Not just your consciousness, but your heritage. Moors. And the true teachers of the mysteries of Isis and her infant son, Horus. What did he just say here? He said the true teachers. The true teachers of Isis and Horus. Well, who is Isis in religion? Mother Mary, Jesus' mother. Who was Horus in religion? Jesus, the Christ figure. So what did he just tell you? He just told you that the historical Jesus is a myth. It's a fairy tale. All right? Even as Osiris, Isis, and Horus today, that's in 1892 when this book was published, are the father, sire, the moon. I'm going to show y'all the image here. It's a crescent moon. The crescent moon, which rules over the tides, that's the tides of the sea, of the ocean. Or Mer, okay? So Mer, let me spell it, M-E-R or M-E-R-E, okay? So this is Isis. Remember Mary? Mary is a mermaid of the sea, the mistress of the sea. Right, y'all? Okay. Or pure, clean ocean. So pure, clean ocean is what? The bitter salt. This is very interesting. When you get saline solution IV in Vietnam, y'all want to know what they call it? They call it seawater. They call it seawater. Okay, they call it seawater. Very interesting, right? Normal saline, they call it seawater in Vietnam. So Mer, Isis, okay? Isis rules over the seas, the tides of the seas. So what are the tides of the seas hermetically? Right? The coming in and the going out. Which Hermetic law is that, y'all? So we see another Hermetic law. Now, let's continue. I have a list of the Hermetic Laws in the description area of this video. But you should study them. You should study them. All you got to do is Google search Kabbalion. Not Google, but search it on YouTube. You can listen to an audiobook. Okay? He continues, the author continues, so pure, clear, ocean water. The bitter salt, the bitter or just salt water, or saline solution, right? Normal saline solution. Okay? Okay, so for this reason, Isis or Myrrh is the virgin. Okay, the virgin in purity, the Virgin Mary. Except for her purity in religion, the mythological, pretended historical Virgin Mary is a sexual virgin, according to doctrine. But we know that that's not true, right? And when you examine the etymology of that word virgin, you'll see that even at that level of analysis, it's still not true, right? It's still not true. Okay, so they even deceive you at that level of understanding. All right. So the virgin in purity. This is the salt water, the ocean, the pure, clean water, and can never, here's why, and can never be defiled because of its immensity. So the ocean is so immense that it can never be defiled. Y'all got that? That's how much water it is. That's how vast it is. And so you can relate this also to the concept of plurality when it relates to, quote unquote, connotatively speaking, God in the ancient Ibaryath. So it's plural, right? The Elohim, it's plural in two senses, and the context will determine it. Number, so more than one is plural, or immensity, vastness, like the ocean. Okay, y'all. So y'all put two and two together. All right. So the ocean can never be defiled because of its immensity. Therefore, always a virgin. Therefore, always a virgin. Okay, so a physical woman can be defiled. By analogy, can be defiled. Right? It's finite. Her vagina is finite. Right? But the ocean is immense. Okay? She is the virgin Mot, M-O-T. So Isis is the virgin mother. Isis is the virgin mother, or Myrrh, or Virgin Mary, anglicized. Okay? In English, according to English culture. All right? Isis becomes the Virgin Mary. And Horus is Mercury. Now this is very, scholars, take heed. Take a note of this. And Horus, in religion, this is baby Jesus. Right? In Christianity, this is baby Jesus. Or just Jesus, as he grew. And Horus, Mercury. Horus is Mercury. Now, who is Mercury? Of course, Mercury is a planet, which is always nearest the sun. So Mercury is the planet that is nearest to Sun. So because it's nearest to Sun, it must have the what? The shortest orbit of all the planets, because it's the closest to the Sun. Y'all see that? So therefore, its orbit, it's going around its orbit faster than any other planet. Okay? So Mercury's movement is very rapid. The chief sign of Mercury, or the chief house of Mercury, is Virgo. Y'all got that? The chief house of Mercury is Virgo. Well, that makes absolute sense, right? Why? Because Mercury is Horus. And Horus' mother is Isis. And Isis, anglicized, is the Virgin Mary. And Mary's child is Jesus the Christ figure. Right? And Jesus the Christ figure sucked on her breast for nourishment. Got it? So whose chief sign or house is the sign Virgo, who is the Virgin. All right? Let's continue back to the paragraph. Who is Mercury, the planet that rules exchange? Uh-oh. Did y'all hear that? Mercury rules exchange, merchandise, commerce, all mediums of exchange between country and country, a go-between, a messenger or Messiah, a mediator. Jesus is the messenger. Jesus is the mediator. Jesus is the Messiah, according to religion. Therefore, Jesus is what? Jesus rules over commerce. This is why they teach you that you were a sinner from birth. You're born in sin. That means you are born a debtor. That means you are born what? Goyim. You are born Goyim. Genesis chapter 1. You're born Goyim. I'm talking to the Moors. Why? Because we lost our nationality. Gave it up. Right? So Christianity is commerce. Christianity is commerce. And you are the product. Hence, Onum Sanctum. Hence, I lost my thought. Hence, Onum Sanctum, the Sexecute Trust. What else, y'all? Hence, Jesus, the rationale for Jesus telling his apostles why he cursed you. What did Jesus' apostle says? Why do you always speak to the people in parables? And Jesus said, so that although having eyes to see, they'll never perceive. And although having ears to hear, they'll never understand. Because if they did perceive and understand the parables, they would have a chance to repent and be saved. So here, Jesus, the Christ figure, the historical Jesus, which is a fairy tale, cursed you from birth to be a bondman and a bondwoman in servitude forever, ever, and ever, ever, the doctrine of discovery in perpetuity. Okay? In perpetuity. In order to do that, they would have to do what? War against you physically and psychologically. Okay, y'all, I think I'm gonna have to call it quits because there's loud music here. Unfortunately, But this is a good place to pick up on the next class, all right? But the main takeaway here is Ham, God the Father Ham, and that Christianity is commerce, and you are therefore a sinner, a bondman, and a bondwoman, a debtor. And the secret society member is the creditor. And Christianity is an institution to denationalize you and keep you in a debtor status, a servant. And whatever means they need to do that by, they will do it. Islam to all the Moors. Shalom. I'm Dr. Yasafa from Zion Law School. Thanks everyone for supporting my work, for being here today. Thanks for buying my books, subscribing to my classes, and donating to my project to write the Book of the Law in both Ancient Ibaryath and Modern English. I gotta go, y'all, because the video may get flagged because of this music. Islam to all the Moors and Shalom.